Hello everyone, welcome to Karma Education. This channel has a target to cover the whole syllabus of UGC NET education subject paper 2 only. In this video, we will discuss about meaning of concepts, constructs and variables and types of variables. This is the These are the topics of subunit B of unit 6, that is research in education. Let's start. Now starts with the word concept. We are very much familiar with the term concept. Concepts are building block of thinking. For example, when we think about UGC NET exam, then first thing comes in our mind that what is the syllabus of the exam, then how to cover it up, what would be the daily study plan and so on. So these are building block of thinking. By adjourning all the little thought, we get a concept about particular thing. So concepts are just like building block of our thinking. By definition, concepts are it's like any describable regularity of a real or any imaginary events or objects. It means concept may be of an imaginary or real object or event, and of course it would be able to describe the object or event specifically, right? And most importantly, concept represents one part of reality, as different people hold different concepts of a same thing. Okay, and it is of two types. First, concrete concepts, and another one is abstract concepts. Concrete concepts, which are observable by our five sense organs like book, fan, bus, etc. And abstract concepts are characteristics or properties of particular object. For example, essence, value, height, weight, etc. So these are the concept of concept. Okay. Next is constructs. Constructs are also concepts. These are chosen or created by a researcher for research purpose. And we can say that these are abstract idea of observable phenomenon. Abstract idea. Constructs are abstract idea of observable phenomenon. For example, psychological term drive. It is an abstract concept which cannot be measured or which is not directly observable, and the output or occurrence of response is observable phenomenon. So the abstract idea is drive, for example, and the observable phenomenon is occurrence of response. Clear? Constructs are abstract idea of observable phenomenon. So finally, construct is not directly observable and measurable, but it is essential thing in terms of research. Next is variables. Variable means anything that can vary with respect to situation. For example, number of vehicles on a particular road can be considered as variable because it varies time to time or road to road. Variable is a concept or abstract idea or construct which is measurable. Variable can be measured, manipulated, and controlled. For example, IQ, height, weight, age, etc. So these are characteristics or traits or conditions which researcher observes, manipulates, or controls. Now we will discuss these three concepts in a comparative manner. First of all, concepts are building block of thinking, which is the base of thought process, which are observable as well as imaginary, right? And in terms of use of concept in research, it is used mainly to introduce new ideas, right? Next is construct. Constructs are type of concept which is abstract idea and which is not observable and measurable, and it is used in research to build multiple dimension of any particular fact or event. Okay, then variables are concept or construct. It may be both concept or construct which are measurable, manipulated and controlled by the researcher. Okay, and in terms of role of variable in research, it is mainly used to analyze and interpret any fact or event. Next is types of variable. First, independent variable or experimental variable. Independent variable is not changed by other variable. It is not changed by other variable. So experimenter or researcher manipulates or controls these independent variable to observe the output. For example, teaching method, for suppose lecture method, teaching one of the teaching method, suppose lecture method, as independent variable, it cannot change by other variable like different school, it may be formal school or special school, but it can be manipulated by teacher to observe the academic performance, which is dependent variable. So here teaching method is independent variable which cannot be changed by other variable, means by other variable like different school, for example formal school or special school, but which can be manipulated by the researcher to observe academic performance, that is dependent variable, right? Next type of variable is dependent variable or criteria variable. It is that factor which is observed and measured to determine the effect of the independent variable. Researcher can change the independent variable to observe the dependent variable. Okay, dependent variable is observed and measured to determine the effect of independent variable. Dependent variable changes with a change in the independent variable. It is very important line that dependent variable changes with a change in the independent variable. Okay, since its value depends upon the value of independent variable, hence it is called dependent variable. Okay, for example academic performance dependent variable of school students depends on teaching method, that is independent variable. Next is extraneous variable. Extraneous variable is extra variable which is not included in the investigation by the researcher, but that may have a significant influence on the investigation. And it is not controlled variable, it is uncontrolled variable. For example, in a job interview, 100 interviewee are there, they will attend the interview. These are independent variable. Now transportation delay, weather condition, etc. may have influence on their performance. Their performance is dependent variable. Interviewer, independent variable. And the transportation delay, weather condition, these are extraneous variable which is not included in the investigation process by the researcher, and these are not controlled variable which is beyond the control of researcher. So these are the extraneous variable, right? Next is intervening variable. Intervening variables are unobservable and uncontrollable variable which cannot be manipulated and is being affected by independent variable but affects on dependent variable. Listen carefully. Intervening, whereas extraneous variable was only uncontrolled variable. Now intervening variables are uncontrollable as well as unobservable, which cannot be manipulated and is being affected by independent variable but affects on dependent variable. For example, habit, attitude, intelligence, etc., which are not observable and which are beyond the control. For example, teaching method of mathematics, independent variable. Dependent variable is mastery on mathematics. Now the intervening variable are attitude. For example, attitude, or you can say the intelligence level or IQ level, towards to learn mathematics, which is unobservable but has effect on dependent variable, that is the mastery on mathematics. Clear? So extraneous variable is uncontrollable, whereas intervening variable is unobservable as well as uncontrollable, but it also has effect on the dependent variable. Next is moderated variable, which is selected, measured and controlled by experimenter in an observed phenomenon to check if it brings about any change between the relation of independent and dependent variable. This is a special and secondary independent variable, which is selected, measured and controlled by researcher to check the effect on the relation between independent and dependent variable, right? For example, independent variable as teaching method, dependent variable academic achievement, moderated variable is gender, right? So this is the uh, variable which is selected, measured and controlled by a researcher. So these are all about concepts, constructs and variables and types of variables. Hopefully this will be helpful to you. Thank you.